At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Yay.
Okay, so we are on now. So thank you very much. Thank you very much once again for this opportunity.
Thank you for the forum.
I'm always so excited to have you on board.
Always very exciting to have this discussion with you, to have this conversation.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, Facebook always puts my setting as private.
Oh.
Yeah, and I always have to go and set it as public every time to make it private.
Oh.
They don't like me so much. I think I've stepped on their toes too many times.
Maybe you need to become a friend and speak to them nicely.
Yeah, I think so. I need to, because now they are so fed up with me. Okay, so we are on now. So thank you very much, Karanja, once again for joining us today. And I just want you to, before we can carry on, I just want you to introduce yourself and tell us more about who you are and what you do, and why is it that you have this passion so much for the teenagers? When everybody's running away from them, you're running towards them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you so much again, Lydia, for this opportunity. As always, I'm so grateful. So grateful to come here and speak to the people that you have, to your friends, to your followers, and to all the other parents, and also to be able to share this message of hope, I believe. And again, my name is Angela Karanja. I am a psychologist. I am a researcher, and I am an educator, and especially a parenting teenagers expert. And I have always said, the reason I gravitate towards teenagers is because, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, I remember when I was growing up and there were mentors and models that actually changed my life in an extremely way. Yeah. And for me, I know I have that hope and believe that truly, if we can just adjust the way we relate with our teenagers, we can change their lives in a different, we literally change the trajectory of their lives. And especially now, obviously my one was changed many years ago when I was a teenager, but then that's where I got the fire to do this. But the thing is, times have changed, and thank goodness and thank God for the research and for the education that's around, and even for the trends that we are able to look at what's working and what's no longer working. Yeah. And for me, that's where I look and see this may have worked 20 years ago, but it doesn't work anymore because times have changed. Our young people have changed. Their thinking is changing, and we have to be more, we have to be more like peers, like friends. It's a relationship. It's not just I tell you, I yell at you and you jump. We are at a point where we are supposed to influence. And what do influencers do? You must provide value, so much value to that person that they actually want to follow you. That's what we are. Parents are leaders. We are influencers. We are no longer, of course, we care for our teenagers, but we are more like influencers. And that's why I call, and Lydia, we both say that parenting is leadership. And any person that comes across or is in any dealings or relationship with a teenager is a parent at that point in time. And we need to adopt these leadership skills. And it's again, it's about influencing, speaking with them in a language that they understand and they actually want to do what you're asking them to do. And that's what it's all about. So, and that's why I'm passionate about it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angela, for that. Yeah, just a recap on what we spoke about last time. Somebody have already said, thank you for bringing the second part of this. I was really blessed last time. So thank you very much, Frishi. Thank you very much, Irungu, for joining us. Just a recap of last time. Our one topic was we had different topics to talk about. So we spoke about don't call your children any negative words, as the power has the tongue has the power of life and death. So we discussed that. We also discussed about trust your children. Okay, trust your children's decision, and you must make them realize that you trust their decision. Is the people out there that you don't trust, but for them you actually trust them. And we also had protect them in public. So there was an example of when, especially when they're in front of the teachers and everything, or in front of anybody accusing them, whether it's falsely or not falsely, but protect your children in front of other people. But also, of course, come in the house and deal with them.
Absolutely.
Okay? And then number 4, be a role model to your children, because as you say, because you're a psychiatrist and you actually rightfully say that children don't really do what you say, they actually do what you do because you're their mirror. So they actually just copy what you're doing. And I really wanted to touch on that just a little bit more, but we touched on it last time. So I think I'll just leave it to that. And then number 5, we also had, don't compare your children with anybody else. Stop comparing, or even with the other siblings as well, because that can bring resentment between the siblings. And then we also spoke about you need to know your children's strength and their weaknesses, and then support them in their strength and also support them, encourage them in their weakness, but don't use their weakness to blame them or to judge them.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And then we also spoke about treat them differently, because all the siblings are different. They all have different characters. They all have different personalities, and they're all different person. So you have to treat them differently. So not the same as, and if you have only one child, there's no sibling, then as well, when you're treating other people outside, you treat them differently. You don't compare them with people the way you treat people outside. So those were the 7 pointers that we actually spoke about last week. So today, and because the topic was really, it was big and it's wide, and we have a lot of people right now who are struggling with parenting. And even just going back to our country, Kenya, right now, there's a story last in the newspaper about those girls that disappeared, and then 1 minute they did not disappear, and there are pictures coming around, and people are saying that nowadays parents don't have time for their children. I actually thought it was something in the diaspora, but it's not in the diaspora, because I thought it's only diaspora that because people leave their homes and come here and say, I want to work, and I want to do something back home, I want to do something for myself. But it's not like that anymore, because now you're home. But it's still the same thing. Parents don't have time for their children. Parents are just doing things and saying things. So in fact, your children now even see you as a hypocrite, because whatever you're saying is not what you're doing. And then they're looking at you thinking like, oh, sorry, my glasses are really bothering me today, guys. So don't worry, why is she fidgeting with her glasses? So the children, like, they'll see you as a hypocrite because you say this and you do this. Yes. And that is why now we're having these problems in the whole world. It's not about just children in diaspora. What happened in Kenya last week shocked me. The pictures I saw, the things I saw, and everybody's saying is because either their parents are doing that, so they're doing it as well, or their parents don't have time to talk to them. And then we have all this social media, we have all this peer pressure. So if you don't have time to talk to your children and let them know that they really need to just stand out but not fit in, they'll just fit in, because it's just human nature to want to fit in. Standing out is something that you're either born with that character, a very strong character of standing out, or you're led into it.
Yes.
Through encouragement, transformation, inspiration, motivation, you're led to stand up. So if you as a parent, you're not there to lead your children into this points, then who is there to lead them? There's a voice out there that will lead them. And that's why what happened last week, what we saw last week, and that is just what we saw. There are so many like that, so many. So as parents, these children did not ask to be born. It's your responsibility as a parent. I don't care what you're going through. You can say, oh, but I don't have this. I'm struggling. I don't have this. That is different from you being there for your child. Just you sitting there with your child and advising your child takes nothing from you. You being there and doing the right thing in the presence of your children takes nothing from you.
Absolutely.
So parents, we don't want to create monsters. Because you did not give birth to a monster. Nobody gives birth to a monster. Nobody gives birth to this child that is now wild in the streets. We make them that. We make these children that. So guys, it's your responsibility as a parent to look after your children. Nobody is going to look after your children for you.
That's right.
So
and we just need to step up. We just need to step up. I mean, commenting on that, someone sent it to me and they said, and this is what I said, all of us are susceptible. Any of our children can go astray. So there's no longer any of us that can sit down and put their feet up and say, oh, I have done everything for my children.
Yeah.
Parenting is like breathing. So you're taking a breath every minute and another one and another one and another one. So there's no time you sit down and say, oh, I did. You can't rely on the breath you took yesterday. You can't do that. It's for if there has to continue being a pulse, you have to continue being on the ball. And that doesn't mean we hover around them.
Yeah.
But it's just knowing, listening in, knowing what are they planning? What are they saying? We may not know everything. We may not know everything because teenagers especially can be very canny. Even we know ourselves from when we were teenagers. We didn't tell our parents everything.
Exactly.
But if you are on the ball, it's even quicker. You're quicker to rescue. In case of anything goes wrong, you're quicker to rescue, right? Yeah, so it's a moment by moment activity. It's not like, oh, I already brought my kids up, that's it.
Yeah.
It's no longer like that.
It's not. And we have to work together because they always say that it takes a community
to
raise up a child. So we have to work together. And that working together comes back to what you said last week, that we need to ask for help. We need to seek professional help. Don't go seek help in a salon because your child's name will be left there on the wall. Don't seek help in a salon. Don't seek help in your neighbor. Don't seek help, professional help. Please, we need help because right now what's going on with children, I'm telling you parents, we need help. And we can get the help is there. Help is there. Don't be scared to ask for help. Help is there. And nobody's going to judge you that you're a bad parent. You're not a bad parent.
In
Just
fact,
ask for help.
In fact, for me, I say the parents that actually ask for support, those are some of the strongest parents because when you are able to identify what is it you can do to improve, especially your relationship with your young person, you become a better parent. You become a better parent. But when you hide thinking that you know it all, I mean, including myself, I have to actually speak to other parenting experts to find out what's the new thing. I have to sometimes say to them, this is not working with my daughter. This is not working. What can I do? So it's not about this one knows everything. No one knows everything.
Yeah.
But it's having that circle, that supportive inner circle that can actually help you to remember you're a leader. Which leader doesn't have a coach, a mentor? Which leader do you know that doesn't have a coach if they want to excel. No leader can do it by themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So somebody just asked me, okay, one of my friends, he said she's going to buy me new glasses. I will really appreciate that because I'm messed up. But my son only broke this side today. So it's not bad. It's only today they broke it. Next time, I promise I'll come with new glasses. So, and we also have somebody who asked if we're on YouTube. We're going to upload this on YouTube later, not now. So your friends can actually watch it later if they wanted to. And someone also said, it's time whether at home or here, parents don't have time for their children, me included. All I do is work. But one day, my son, who is 22 years old with a girlfriend, asked me a question. Mom, you don't love me anymore because you are never there. It made me change my life around. Now I give 2 days a week just to spend time with him. Can you imagine? And look at how old the boy is. 22. So imagine, and he feels like, okay, let me talk to mom. But imagine the younger ones, they're not even going to waste time to talk to you. They'll just go outside and find someone else. So thank you very much for that, Olang. She's actually one of our supporters. She's always there. She's always supporting and encouraging, because we always say it's good to encourage and support our own. So thank you very much for that. So as we go along, our next point was don't impose on them what society wants. So let's talk about that. Don't impose on them, don't impose. And I'll also, before we start talking about that, I'll just talk about my own daughter. Well, she didn't want to go to uni when she finished, and she finished her A-levels, and I was like, no, you have to go to uni, it doesn't look good, you have to, because I'm thinking, oh, my friends, their children have gone to uni, come on, mine too, I want my child to go to uni. And then she actually went. And one day, after 1 year, one day we were watching news, and my house, we don't watch news. And I keep on saying this, I think it was just God telling me, listen to your child.
Yeah.
And we don't really watch news because news to me is always bad news. And we were just watching news, and she was there. And there was this woman that her daughter committed suicide, and she was doing nursing. And I said, oh my God. And the woman was actually crying, saying, I wish I listened to my daughter. And she was crying. And when she finished, my daughter casually drops it in, so casually, like it means nothing. She said, yeah. And I know how she feels, because that's how I feel sometimes. And I turn back and I say, what do you mean? And then she says, sometimes she goes on the windowsill of a university and she wants to jump. And she just thinks of how mom raised her, how we are Christians, and she stopped. And then I say, do you still feel like that now? And then she said, yeah, I still feel like that now. And I still go on the window. I told her, what, from now that we're talking, no more uni. Now, she said, Mommy, I said, no more. No. And we left everything in that uni, her TV, her fridge, everything. I never went back to that building. That was the end of my child's uni. I said, if I'll force my child to go to uni, and then one day she'll sit on that windowsill, probably not intentionally or accident, I don't know, and jump. What would I say? And she actually told me this. We like cry and say, come back. And then, no. I just told her, it's fine. We're done. No more. She was so happy, but it's just the way she dropped it, and she dropped it so casually, like, yeah, I understand her. I was like, this is not something you understand, honey. So we should not impose things on our children. So you as a psychiatrist, please enlighten us more on that one.
That is, and I'm so glad, Lydia, that you've been vulnerable enough to give yourself as an example, because nothing beats an example and an experience like what you've given.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to add. To be honest, I do not know what else to add.
Yeah.
But you don't know how many year 1, year 2 university students tell me,
yeah,
I want to end this all. This is my parents' life. And you have to, and they don't want you to tell your parent. And of course, because they are older, you can't share that information. So sometimes I am sitting holding my hands, hoping that they don't do it, and continuously encouraging them to tell their parents that they don't want that.
Yes.
And then even some of my friends, I have had to sit down and say to them, it doesn't have to be the way we were brought up. Every young person has a path. Every young person was brought here for a purpose.
Yes.
Let God, let life lead them their way, not what we know, not how we know. I mean, think about, for example, some of us who are in the UK, I have to tell some of them, think about the opportunities. There is no shame in your child having an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
there is
no shame
in your child going to work.
There
is no shame if they decide to go to university, and there is no, the shame is pretending that everything is okay, and then your child breaks down.
Yeah.
That is where, and you know, you think you're hiding and closing everything, and then it all comes out in public. Right? So it is very, very important that we listen to them, listen to the desires. What I say, in fact, I encourage young people, you don't have to go to university, you don't have to do anything, but the most important thing is don't sit at home doing nothing. Because sitting at home doing nothing is not what you are called here to do. You are called here to be of service. Find what it is that you can do and do it. Even if you want to go and become a mechanic, let's find that garage and then go and fix those cars like no one else. Right? If you are indeed called to be an orthopedic doctor, go and do those bones like no one has ever done them. You know, because when we force and impose what is ours, what we are doing is we are almost like distorting their path. And even you and I know, when you are not following your path, just how frustrating does it feel?
Exactly.
And then, can you imagine someone, our young person, the person that we tell we love most, we are frustrating them in that way? You know, it's really, we need to be very, very careful. And then don't allow the society, the society is not the one that pays your bills. It's not the society that pays it's not the society that's going to support you when your child is in hospital. It's not them. It's none of them. In fact, they'll probably be sitting out there laughing. So we need to look and think, what is best for my young person? And have these discussions. If they want to be a plumber, go and be the plumber. Don't just go and be the best plumber. Go and do. How many plumbers have we seen are doing very well?
And the thing is as well, Angela, it's not just about my child is a plumber or a carpenter. Through using your skills, you can even have your own business. You can be a millionaire, the one who is employing those plumbers, but you're also doing it because you have to start somewhere. So I don't know why parents find shame into saying that. But in saying that, I have somebody here who said, and I'll let you talk about this. Anyway, somebody said, where are the single mature ladies? Please just say hello to Raymond. Okay, Raymond.
Hello, Raymond.
Raymond. Okay, hello, Raymond. We say hello to you, Raymond. Thank you very much. And then somebody say, absolutely, there's no shame indeed. There's no shame. And somebody say, my daughter didn't go to uni, but now she works at London Stock Exchange. Can you imagine? London Stock Exchange. And her child did not even go to uni. And I told her when she's ready, I'm doing a master's, and I tell her when she's ready, I hate the way parents tell their children to go and do nursing. Look at what is happening now. Do you know what torture the children are getting at hospital? One of my friends forced the son to go to university, got a pass, and then came and threw the certificate to the mom and said, that's hers. She wanted the earth to open. See? So it's true to have this it's true to have these testimonials. It's true to have this, because then when people hear it out, they're like, oh, so I'm not alone. And somebody said, but some parents spoil the kids and don't want to ask for help, or someone telling their child off, they get offended. Can you enlighten that, Angela, please?
About their child being told off. What do you mean?
Somebody said, but some parents are spoiling their children and don't want to ask for help, or someone telling their children off, they get offended.
Right. The thing is, if you consider yourself as a leader, as a parent, why would you want to spoil your child?
Yeah.
Think about it. Isn't leadership empowering the person that looks up to you? Your job as a leader, your job as a parent and a leader is to empower that young person to go out and be it's not very interesting. I listened to John Maxwell, and he said, as parents, he said a different quote, but this was my deduction from what he said. We have to start parenting and stop being clowns. We are clowns. Clowns are there. Yeah. You have to. John said that he started excelling in leadership when he started becoming a true leader and stopped being a clown. Right? What do clowns do? Clowns are there to make you laugh, to make you happy, to just happy, a fleeting happiness. Right? But as parents, we have to start parenting, deep leadership, instead of trying to make our job is not to entertain them. It's not, we are not clowns. Yeah, we need to have those deep, serious, those deep penetrating conversations. Remembering that these are people, these are human beings, and we need to have enriching, empowering conversations. For example, if your young person doesn't want to go to university, for example, say to them, so what is your option? What is the other option? Because I know you are a creator. You are created for a purpose. What is your option? What do you see as your purpose? Those are called empowering conversation. Not sit here, I dress you, I give you food, I give you all the gadgets, and you do nothing, and you sit down and abuse me as because what do the thing with being a clown is, as much as you're trying to entertain them, they're laughing. In fact, they're laughing at you. Yeah, they're laughing at you, not even with you. They're laughing at you. We need to step up. We need to step up. And if you're one of, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I don't think anyone is saying they're perfect, but we need to reflect and ask ourselves, where am I failing in empowering my young person? Remember last time I said about our job is to continuously give life, right? Give life. You're giving life. You're pushing someone forward. You're empowering them. You're encouraging them, right? So when you're spoiling them, what encouragement is there? You're disabling them.
Yeah.
That's not giving life. So we need to evaluate ourselves in how we deal with our young people, the conversations we have, and the actions that we take about their lives, and also our relationship with them. Yeah,
that's very important. Thank you very much. And someone also just made a comment that, we need to allow our children to be what God created them to be, which is true. That's why comparing them and saying, I wish you were so and so, is not a good thing, and is not godly either. So we have to allow them. Yeah. So we're going also, our next one is listen to them. I always give example with myself, because I have family meetings, and that's the only place I allow them to say anything they want to say about me, and no victimization. I say, when we're sitting, mommy's sitting on a hot seat today, so it's you guys to now talk to mommy what I do. And I learned a lot from those family meetings, because they told me, yeah, mommy, you do this. Sometimes I'm like, huh? I don't even remember I did. What are you talking about? It's like they keep every record in there. So like the lady who just said that her son is 22 and said, well, he said, it's because probably they just keep it. They just keep it. They just see what you do and keep it. So when we have family meetings, the things these children tell me sometimes, I'm thinking, okay, why did I even allow this family meeting to happen? Because now, and because I've told them already, no victimization, nobody's going to accuse you, nobody's going to, and I'm not going to hold anything. When we leave this room, everything that we said is done, even though now it's in my heart, because I'm thinking,
Yes.
wow, is that what they think of me? Is that what I did? Is that what I said? Because what happens with parents is because we have so many things going on. Sometimes you say something without thinking. But if pastor the child, you've said it to them, they will always remember what you said.
Yes. Yes.
I'll just give you an example. When we were in Kenya with the children, and there was this lady, I met one of my cousin's daughters, and she's baking as well. And then I was like, oh my God, my child bakes as well. So I was just saying that, oh, my child bakes. And then I say, she does it, it's her passion. That's what I said. And I just thought, it's her passion, not knowing that I'd actually so much offended my daughter. So later, my daughter is quiet, and I'm like, you, what's wrong with you? And my big daughter said, yeah, mommy, you said something that you offended. I said, what did I say? And then she said, you said it's her passion. That's not her passion, mommy. That's her career. That's what she does. And I said, oh. And then I started thinking, I was like, oh, but it's passion as well. She said, no, mom, this is beyond passion. Passion is just what you do on the side. This is my career, mom. And you made it, you really,
You made it look like a hobby.
Like a small. I had to apologize. I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize when I said it. So that's why to have like things like family meetings or allowing children to talk to you and you listen to them is very, very important. So if you can just enlighten us more in that.
Yeah, what you said is a very, very important, a very important point, and it's something I encourage a lot of parents to do. And it can be with young children or older ones. In fact, it can be with the whole family. For example, ours used to have a family reflection on a Wednesday afternoon after school, and we don't do it on a Wednesday afternoon. Now we do it every other Saturday. What we do is you sit there, and in turns, each one says what they have enjoyed in the week and who has offended them and why. Yeah. And so people say what has offended them. And like you said, hey, I think my daughter carries a little.
She takes it forward.
Absolutely. And sometimes she's looking forward to that. So what I've done now is said to her, if something is so pressing and it can't wait for that time, you can tell me before. But that is a safe, it's that creating a safe space where they know that they can say, like my daughter, she'll say to me, Mom, I heard you saying to parents I heard you saying that you should not shout. Yeah. So, and then she tells me the day I shouted at her and the time, and I'm like, and remember, I'm not supposed to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about accepting, acknowledging, yeah, so that next time she can be free and she's able to especially unleash what's happening in her mind. It's a very nice you can say a ritual, a tradition families can do. Another thing you can do is maybe you go for a drive, right? I like to tell parents, go for a drive or just go for a long walk, and then just ask maybe your daughter or your son, there are so many topics I don't know anything about. Yeah, what topics do you know? Can you teach me? And just actually allow them to tell you what they know. You will hear things that you probably had never thought, right? And those are the moments you realize, oh, this kid knows this. And then the most important thing about that session is how empowered they feel.
Yeah.
It's how empowered they feel. And that is what builds self-esteem for them,
Mm.
to feel that you are important, that you are valued,
Mhm.
and actually someone listens to you.
Yeah.
How important are you?
Mhm.
And the more we help them to feel that, the more they're not going to be conned by someone out there,
Yes.
someone who says to them, oh, you know, girls or boys, oh, you're amazing. And they're thinking, you know, not being cocky, but I'm thinking, I knew I was amazing. My
You know
mom,
already.
yeah,
And
my mom,
sometimes.
yeah, my mom's told me that, like my mom's, you know, like my daughter said, my mom's told me that there are times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know. And obviously we're not training them to be cocky,
Mhm.
but it's that confidence, so that when they are out there, because the problem with when we don't build it in the house, they will be prey.
Yeah.
And there are predators out there
Mm.
who will prey on them,
Mm.
tell them one nice thing, and your kid is gone,
Kabisa.
and
That's
they're just being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they feel, oh, this person really cares, this person really listens to me, this person, you know, those are the stories, by the way, when we rescue young kids from who have been in, we call them sex trafficking and drug trafficking. That is what they tell you. This person, they made me feel so important.
So that's how it starts. With
And
you're so pretty. You
yes.
look this.
Yes,
So,
you look amazing.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to give us as parents. Don't think that you're maybe I can't remember having such things with my mom at home or anything, but it's something I have to consciously practice because I know it works. Yeah, because I know it works. And I think it's very important for us to start from home.
Yeah.
And what you said about having family, it doesn't have to be every day, but they know that you're safe and they can tell you anything. And it's very important for them to offload. Yeah.
They need to have that safe net. That safe
yes.
net.
They need to have a safe net to offload, yes.
Yeah, you know, and don't, as a parent, don't excuse your behavior. Just like you said, when you're there having a meeting, no excuses. Yeah, but I did it because.
There's no yeah, but I have tried it. By the way, it's let me just be honest. I have, when I've been caught, and several times I've been caught, I jump, oh yeah, but yeah. Then you can hear them say, no, yeah, but like, no, yeah, it's you've been caught, you acknowledge, and you apologize, and then we are keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
Because we want to make those amends. Because again, there's no point having these meetings and nothing is happening, nothing is changing.
Yeah, you go back to the same do you. And you know, when you say somebody out there tells you you're beautiful, blah, you know, I actually spoke Swahili. I just said kabisa because it just touched me so much, because and then I know somebody said something here as well. Somebody say some people bring up their children how they were brought up or how they saw their parents, and then they emulate it at home as well. And that is true, but also we have a choice. I always tell my children, when we were being brought up, because your parents only give what they have. You can only give what you have. So if my parents, and because my parents were brought up those days, and we all know that with generation, everything changes generation to generation. And at that time, when my parents were being brought up, there was no I love you, there was smacking and beating. You're being beaten because you broke a cup. You're being beaten for a mistake you've not done. Yeah. You remember, I don't know if anybody's with me in this one, but before your mom leaves the house, she'll be like, nikikuja nipate hizo mbio zimosho. Umesikia? Pa! Nimesema nini? I'm beating you, mistake you've not done.
In advance.
You've been beaten in advance. She doesn't know when she comes back, the plates will be washed or not, but she's beating you regardless. So for you to remember that, oh, this beating, let me go wash clothes. But that's wrong. They're beating you for something you've not done. So, and the fact that even the way we were brought up, and that's what my parents, that's what they were given. And they decided to carry that on into their own homes. But personally, I had to make a choice. And I think in life, we all have choices to make. And it's the same thing with either it's domestic violence, or if it's your parents are drinking alcohol or smoking or using drugs. There are so many people, especially with celebrities. I don't know if you hear their stories. Most of them were brought up in a very poor background. Their parents were abusive. They were using drugs, but they chose not to relive their parents' life. So,
Absolutely.
So personally, I chose to not to relive my parents' life. And one thing that I say I'll never let my children do is to fight. Because in my house, we used to fight like nobody's business. You know, that physical fight, and we used to fight. And I said, my children will never fight physically. But because I have one child who her body is a little bit bigger than the other one is so tiny, she thought, I'll be beating. The day she beat my child, I told her, darling, I beat her the way she beat my child. And she said, and I said, don't you ever touch my child again. She said, but mommy, I'm also your child. I said, no, you're not. Because my child will not behave the way you're behaving. So you're not my child. This is my child. And if you ever touch her again, since then, she never touched this child, because she was just thinking, so if I touch this child, I'm not my mom's child. I'm also my mom's child. So I made a choice that my children will never fight physically. They can have an argument. They can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
Because that's normal, but they'll never have a fight physically. So as much as the way we were brought up by our parents, guys, you have a choice to not relive that life. Give your children the best. Don't relive that child, that life of your parents.
Absolutely.
And
we
also,
have that choice.
You go on. I just wanted to read what some people said as well, because we also have to acknowledge the people who are here with us, and they're actually listening as well. Somebody said, I think I have been on the hot seat as well, Lydia, a few times. And yes, it gets hot at times. We forget, oh, this is funny. We forget, I just want to enlarge it. Yeah. We forget they're humans, they're human beings who should be listened to, asking the right questions and conversations, safe space that are not dictatorialized like old,
like the old days,
school days.
Absolutely.
Like, and somebody also said 90% of parents have forgotten their roles of mentoring and parenting their innocent children. Instead, they are busy with alcoholism, stripping on social media, competing with each other with promiscuous sex life on Facebook, and changing sex partners per day in front of the kids. Others are involved in love triangle in front of their children in the same house. This, what this lady just said now, what Caroline just said now, is what happened, is what is happening right now in Kenya. Sorry, I'm just using the blue tag to hold my glasses. It's embarrassing, but it's not embarrassing. I don't really mind, guys.
It's not embarrassing, it's life.
It's life, and life moves on. And I know my friend said she would buy me glasses. What is happening? I don't know if you've read news, what happened last week with some girls, and the pictures were going round, and what these girls were doing is something even at my old age, I've never thought of doing. And they're only 16, 14, and 15. And the talks have been going on round and round. And what came out of it, the same thing the lady's saying. So I think maybe she read the stories as well, is the way what parents are doing in front of their children. And I don't understand. And you're forgetting that your life, you've lived the life, you're maybe 40, 50, you've lived all that life. Your children are still young. They need protection.
That's right.
Because everything, especially things that in social media, will follow them. Imagine now one child there wants to be a president like Obama. Obama became a president, so we know anything is possible. Look at Larry Madowo. Larry Madowo is now in BBC in Washington, D.C. Look at Lupita Nyong'o. Look at how many celebrities we have. Look at how many doctors we have. So imagine you're a big doctor somewhere, and then your story comes up that one day this is what you were doing when you were 16, when you were 17. Who are you going to blame? Is it not your parents? Because your parents are supposed to protect you.
Yeah.
Parents, we are supposed to protect our children. And we're not saying don't do those things. If you want to do them, don't do them in front of your children.
Absolutely. Don't, because they are modeling. They are modeling what you're doing. And what we said last week was it's copying. They copy what we do. They copy what we do. So if that's your lifestyle, you can't even open, you can tell them not to do it all you like. But what do they know? They know what they see. So they'll do what they see because that has become them. So we have to be careful about the things, all those, you calling them love triangles and all that. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that later, Lydia, when we talk about co-parenting and not maligning each other's parent. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, in the meantime, yeah.
So we go to our number 11.
Yeah.
Don't say anything negative. In fact, it's like you you just started talking about the next topic. Don't say anything negative about the other parent.
Yes.
Don't say any negative thing. In fact, I don't know if this guy is listening, but he always follows my shows. But he told me last time that him and his dad, he actually said something that when he was talking, I was like, wow. He said his dad was sick. His dad had a stroke. And he told me to say, but I'm not going to mention his name. But he said his dad had a stroke and it was only him and his dad in the house. Do you know this boy contemplated on whether to call the ambulance or not? That shouldn't be. Straight away, you should see your dad dying or your mom, and straight away you call for help. But he saw that and he contemplated. It was like, should I not? Maybe I shouldn't. Because of the way he despises his dad, because of the way his dad treats him, his dad does this, is that. So I was talking to him and I said, come on. And he said, and the worst thing, Lydia, is every time he's telling me negative things about my mom. So this guy's mom is still in Africa. That is forever saying negative things about this woman, calling this woman names, saying this woman is a prostitute, this woman is this. And the guy gets really angry every time they speak about his mom, and he's holding his fist like this, like,
yeah.
I say, no, next time he's doing that, just walk away. Because if you hit him, you're the one who's going to be in trouble. But why does he talk? Why does he say all these things about my mom? My mom never says bad things about him. So guys, regardless of the fight, your fight is between you and your husband. Leave the children out of it. Stop telling children bad things about the other parent. So please, Angela, you are the prophet. You are this is your area of expertise. So just enlighten us again.
Yes. This is something that is so serious, yet it happens so much because people are bitter. For example, when people separate or divorce, you take your bitterness, right? Instead of dealing with it, instead of processing it yourself, this is what people do. And this is what some people do, not everyone. What you do is, it's like serving. Remember, your child has a mom and a dad, right? So every time you tell them something negative about, for example, my daughter, where every time I tell her something negative about the dad, this is what I'm doing. I'm serving her food with poison in it, right? So you're serving food. You know she's going to eat it because she's your child and she loves you. But it's got poison in it. Yeah? For example, the case study that you've just given, this young person, the dad thinks he's being the good one by being bad, speaking bad about the parent. But what is happening? He is ruining his chances with his own son.
Exactly.
Because remember, this child, that is the mom. That is the mom. I don't know. One of my favorite writers is Rumi. Rumi said that it is very shocking that people who want to feel better, they cut other people's head so they can stand taller. Do you? So myself and another person, I cut their head off so I can stand taller. How foolish is that? And then I have to carry that corpse around everywhere with me because I've chopped their head off. It's a very unfortunate thing but people don't think about it. People don't think about it, especially as who are, for example, my daughter's dad and I separated many years ago, and I made a decision, which I had made a decision a long time ago. I will never ever deny her from seeing her dad, and I will never say a word about the dad. She obviously can see for herself. Her relationship with her dad is her relationship with her dad. I do not intend to corrupt her mind with the image of who I think her dad is. Right? That is not my job. Let her develop her relationship with her dad and discover him for herself. And this is why I decided that, because after you see so many children and the hatred they have for the other person or for the current parent is because can you imagine when you have dissonance? When your head has so much dissonance, there's pulling and tugging. Remember, this child is it's come from a woman and a man. So you're forcing the child to hate part of themselves. How can you do that?
Yeah.
You're because remember,
that's deep. That's deep.
You're forcing them to hate part of themselves, because sometimes they look in the mirror and they can see the image of me. So when you say things about me, remember, especially when they are young people, they don't have the cognition to process information. For example, if you told me things about someone, I have the capability and the strength to know you're just jealous, or you're just, but kids don't have that cognition, that high cognition. So when they look at themselves, they see those eyes of mom, they hate, because you have said, the dad has said your mom is a prostitute, your mom is useless, your mom is this, all those things. So when they look at themselves, what do they see? They see all those things that you call the mom. Yeah, that's what they see. And it's a very dangerous. I wish people would just keep quiet. Even if you're hurting so much, just keep quiet. Don't involve the kids. Don't involve the kids. I know sometimes it's hard, especially where there has been domestic abuse and all, and you're bitter and all that. But we also know that your relationship with that person was your relationship with that person. It's got nothing to do with the kid. And the kid will soon discover the real person for themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless in a relationship there was abuse. Abuse with the children, not as to the mom or the dad, because you can find other relationship. The dad is always abusive to the mom, physically or spiritually, emotionally, whatever, and the wife or the other way around, but they love their children.
Yes.
So unless the parent was abusive to the children, there was there was an abuse of whichever form in the family, then yes, you can deny one parent from seeing the child, the parent that has the child from the other parent. But if there's none like that, it's just because he left you or she left you for somebody else, because you guys are not in agreement anymore, and then now you don't want the children to see their dad or to see their mom. That is totally wrong, because I've seen some women, and it's not once, it has happened to some women who have cried because they suffered with this child. Their dad never gave anything. Their dad never gave money. They suffered. When the child is older, the child says, I want to see my dad. The woman is like, what do you mean? I've suffered with you. I want to see my dad. Because first of all, that child did not ask you to suffer for them. You are a parent, so that's your responsibility to suffer with them. It's your responsibility to feed them, to make sure they're living in a good house, to make sure there's heating, to make sure you give them food.
They don't know you anything.
They don't know anybody else, and they don't owe you anything
They
for
don't
doing
owe
this
you
because
anything.
you are the mom or you are the dad. So now, because you struggle with them, they're not allowed to see the other person. Totally, that is wrong. That is something that mostly women, I would say this, it's mostly women that do this. They use their children as a scapegoat. There's this guy that he was back home. He was in Kenya, and the dad was here. And he was in Kenya, him and his sister, and they were really struggling. When I say suffering, they back home. And every time the mom would phone here in the UK and say, oh, nitumie pesa because watoto wana struggle, the man will send something, the man will send something. But the man wanted the children to come to the UK, but the woman didn't want. It's not, and her reason was, if the children are in the UK, this man will not send me money anymore. I said, that's the most selfish reason. To keep your children in poverty just because you want their dad to be sending you money. Why don't you release them and then you're even free? Do you understand? Yeah. So you know what those children did one day? They stole their passport when their mom went to the market. They stole their passport. Their uncles did everything and they came to the UK to their dad. Now, 10 years later, no, 15 years later, the boy is the one helping the mom even build. This is the boy is helping the mom build a house for the mom. The mom is now saying, oh, thank you that you stole the passport and you left. It's because at that time, nobody had spoken to her and told her what you're doing is wrong. You cannot use your children as scapegoats and use them as a leverage that, oh, I have to hold on. That is wrong. And that's what a lot of women do, especially women, do it to their exes. It's wrong. Let the children decide for themselves. Just like you rightfully said, Angela, children are not stupid and they're not blind. And they're not deaf either. They're not stupid, they're not deaf, they're not blind. They can see and they can hear. Let them see for themselves. Let them hear for themselves and let them judge for themselves.
Absolutely. And especially when they are a bit older, let them do that for themselves. Because I'll tell you something, even in a relationship that was abusive, I don't know whether you know the dynamics of abuse, but I'm sure you have an idea. What can happen is some people, some men or some women can be so abusive to the partner, but they are so good to everyone else. As it's like a public show, such that that's why I still say, even with such a person, you have to allow the young person, unless they are beating them or emotionally abusing the child, then that is a different case. But you have to allow the child to go and find out for themselves. Yeah, you have to allow them to go and find out for themselves. Otherwise, they'll come back and blame you that it was because of you that I didn't get to see my dad. I didn't get to see my mom. I didn't get to all this. And who wants that? You don't want that. The reason we have these children is so that we can have long-term relationships, right? When I think of my daughter, I remember there was a time, especially as soon as we separated with the dad, there was a bit of tug and, there was tug and a sort of control something. And this is what I said. What I want most for my daughter is to have mental stability. And if it means she comes and stays with you, let her stay with you. I know when I say I'm going to come and see her on Wednesday or Thursday and Friday, I will do that. What I don't want is that you, on the other hand, say you're going to see her Saturday or Friday and Saturday, and then you don't turn up. Because my child is standing at the window waiting for her dad, right? Waiting for her dad, and then dad doesn't turn up, and I have to explain. I have to constantly explain. I had come to that point. I had said, I know what I can control. I know that if I say I'm going to come and see her, I'll see her. What I will not have is this, she doesn't know what, we don't know where we stand, destabilizing people. That one I will not do for my daughter because it doesn't do them well in their mental wellness, because that's how people start to, especially young people,
rejection.
Yeah, they start to feel
Rejection.
rejected. They start to feel, oh, he doesn't care about me. And they tell
Yeah.
themselves stories. He doesn't care about me. Otherwise, he would have been here. I'm not important. So,
Mhm.
and they carry that voyeur thing, you know.
Yeah.
They,
Oh,
they
yeah.
carry that chip on their shoulder. Voyeur, I am not wanted. I am not, and it's a very dangerous thing, because even in school, when something small happens, they just say, yeah, that's me. No one wants me.
Mhm.
When a child decides they don't want to play with you, and it's within their right to
Yeah.
decide, I want to play with Lucy today. I don't want to play with you. Your kid thinks, oh, it's just me. No one wants me. Yeah.
It's
So
just that spirit of rejection. That spirit of rejection is very
that's the spirit
strong.
of rejection.
Very
So
strong.
anyway, what I was saying is, as women, let us not use our young people, our children, as weapons.
Mhm.
As weapons, because we are messing their minds up.
Yeah.
We are messing their minds up, and that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Definitely. Using them as weapons of mass destruction.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Mhm. And our another point is check what your kids have. Because the thing is, sometimes you see kids wearing new things. You see your children wearing something that you never bought. Or yes, nowadays when they at this age, you don't really buy them things. They buy things themselves, or you give them money, they buy this. But always ask, where did you get that? Oh my God. Yeah, I wish you can be in my house. I always look and I know every single thing that is new. Because that also is interest. You have to take interest of why is this is new. The hairstyle is new. This is new. Even if the makeup, I always say, oh, your makeup looks different today, because then they'll be like, wow, so you really take interest on how I look.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you see something new, where did that come from? How much was it? Where did you buy it? And sometimes they be, mom, you say, no, we're just having a conversation, honey. I'm not interrogating you, it's just conversation. So what would you say about that? And when you're also talking about that, talk about entering the room as well. Entering the room and checking what is going on in there. How do you enter in that safe room? Is it okay for us to enter? Can you just clarify that for us, please?
Brilliant. That is so good. And what you said about checking what they've got, it works in two ways. First of all, if they've got nothing to hide, then they know, oh, mommy or daddy takes interest in my life. And it's nice for when our children feel that we are interested in their style. You know, like daughter the other day, she said to me, Mom, I'm changing my aesthetics. And it took me a moment thinking, oh, what does it mean? But after the conversation, I discovered now she's moved on from wearing tracks to wearing, you know, these short little tracks, you know, we used to call them timber cuts, and you know, those little so those who don't understand Swahili, it's those crop tops.
Yeah,
they're called the crop tops. Yeah, so that's their aesthetic she's moved to. So there's that. It shows that you're interested in them. But then on the other hand, if there's something unbecoming that's happening, then you notice. Because I'll tell you what has been happening, especially lately, with young people who are involved in, we call it criminal, you know, the child criminal engagements. What happens is, or child sexual engagements. What happens is, actually it's exploitation, engagement or exploitation. So you have your child, someone approaches them and says to them they're going to buy them something, you know, and then that is only a bait. Yeah. So maybe your child is seen hanging out let me talk about teenagers, because they're hanging out JD, and they want, maybe your kid's been asking you, your daughter's been asking you to buy them the latest, whatever, fillers or Nike, whatever. So these gang people, what they do, they hang around there as well. So they
Mhm.
see your kid take a shoe and put it back. I can't afford that. It's 70 quid. I mean, 14-year-old, it take them a long time for them to earn 70 quid, yeah?
Yeah.
So this person decides, actually, I saw you, you like that. And they said, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you that. Mostly these guys, they steal them from shops. So they'll steal the size for your young person. And then the next day, all they do is mention, come around here tomorrow. And then your kid gets the shoes. Oh, no, don't worry about it. But then what happens? The next day, they're given something. All you need to do, you know your neighbor lives in number 23, whatever. Can you deliver this? So they're given something, maybe in the form of a pen or something, and then they deliver there. What they don't know is they're probably delivering drugs. And because remember, they feel they owe, once you've done something nice for someone, it's like they feel they owe you.
Mhm.
So the young person feels like, oh, I can do anything for this person. What they don't know is that they could be being used for drug peddling. Yeah, and they are that happens a lot. And then maybe one day your kid decides, no, I'm going for athletics, so I'm not going. That's when they start getting beat up. Why? Because this gang person didn't care about them in the first place. Yeah, so they start missing, you see your kid is having nice things, but then they don't want to go for their activities anymore. They are busy doing this, they are busy doing that, they are busy doing, and that's how they are caught up in that web. Another way they are caught up in that web, again, it's the other side, which is especially the girls and also the boys, is a sexual exploitation as well. And it starts like that. It could even be, you know how kids after school they hang around at McDonald's or something, and you're thinking, oh, my mom said, and they'll talk, oh, my mom said I need to go home and eat. And then another one says, no, but McDonald's only £4. I just get one. Don't worry. Don't mind it. It's always don't mind it. And which kid doesn't want to quickly get a McDonald's?
Exactly, for free.
For free. And then they go home. And then the next day, the person's there. And then, remember, they've already, they've caught them. And because your child didn't tell you yesterday, it's very hard for them to then come and tell you today what happened.
Mm.
That's why many times it's also very important to catch it from the beginning, because any of our kids, I can tell you there is a kid, and I'm going to be very careful, so that was a kid from a very high profile family, very high profile. And what happened was he had finished his pocket money. He got a lot of pocket money, and then he just used it and finished. And then what he did when he was with his friends, he mentioned that. And then someone said the same thing I said to you. Oh, don't worry, it's only 5 quid. Remember, this is a kid. It's not that they don't even have the money. It's a human thing. When someone does for you something nice, it's like you feel indebted to them.
Yeah.
And because he didn't tell the parents, do you know that kid got hooked into that criminal gang? By the time we were discovering that guy was even in the, not just the criminal offenses, he was even in the sexual, and it's a young person. It's a young, he was about 17 then. And I'm not going to mention the sports he was good at, because he might be people might be able to identify him. He was an upcoming under 18 British champion of a particular sport. And it got ruined.
Just for that.
Why? Because he stopped going to the gym, right? Because he was busy with these people, right? And then he was busy being sent to deliver this, to deliver that. And he got 50 quid. Remember, he was still getting the pocket money from the parents, but he was also getting extra.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes money can be addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for young people, and it's coming free.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, what I say, so when parents say, oh, that's for poor people, no, it's not for poor people. I know kids who even shoplift. They're not from poor families. And you look at them, you're like, why did you do that? You had 20 pounds in your pocket. Why? I don't know. Everyone was doing it. There was a ring of us. So
that is like peer pressure as well.
That's right.
Peer pressure.
That's right. So we need to keep our eye on the ball, right? And also check their rooms. Check their rooms. Anything you find something new that you didn't buy, question it.
Mm-hmm.
Question it. You have the right to question, especially if you've not given them money.
Yeah.
I mean, your kid turns up. You know, kids, girls, 15-year-old turns up with an iPhone 11, and you didn't buy it for them,
mm-hmm.
and you know how much is in their account, and you also know that no kid under 18 can buy a phone for themselves. Oh, come on, we need to ask these questions, these hard questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to ask them. And if you can't buy, I mean, I'll be the first one to say that doctor says, oh, those Huaraches, they're 150. And I'm thinking, I'm not buying no shoe for 150. And then it's not just that, you want another one in 2 weeks.
Yes, because that one is out of fashion.
Yes. So I'm thinking, no, what you do is, do you see what has happened there? Can you imagine if tomorrow they go and find my daughter, she goes and finds someone who says, come on, what size do you wear? Huaraches, what ones? Which kid will not say yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they hide them because they know that you said no and they don't have the money. So we need to snoop, but we also need to be very careful because we also need to show them that we trust them.
Yes, exactly.
But if we can do it from the beginning to avoid that trap, that's a better way of dealing with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important for young parents that are actually either going to be parents now or just they have young children. It's good to start. The foundation has to be strong. If the foundation is not strong, then there'll be a problem. And the foundation to be strong, like what you just rightfully said, Angela, is if we start from an early age to go into the room. So when by the time your child is 2 years, the child knows mommy comes in my room, 5 comes in my room, 10, my mom comes in my room, 15, my mom comes in my room. But all of a sudden, your child is 15 and you start going to their room. They'll start being rebellious. Say, why are you doing in my room? Because you've never been to my room. So start from when the children are young. And always tell people, you know that thing that we say in Swahili, that samaki mkunje akiwa mbichi.
Yes.
You can only bend a fish when it's still fresh. Once it's dry, if you bend it, it's going to break.
That's right.
And that's what we do as parents. We've left it, some of us, we've left it too long that anytime you want to break it, it breaks. But the thing is, it's never too late. We can always start from somewhere. It's never too late.
Somewhere. Like for example, let's assume, for example, in our house, we've always had a very open door. Anyone can go into anyone's room. As long as you're respectful, you knock and then come in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's there's no room that no one cannot go into.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has been what it is, right? So she knows that. And for example, I'm not saying she cannot hide something, because when you knock, maybe she has 2 minutes to hide something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will go in there and I have the right to look anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something we've established from a long time ago.
Exactly.
You go in there and I can question. I can question, especially things that have not been bought from. And it's very dangerous, especially for some of us who have our children who live with one parent at some point, and she lives here some days and she lives the other side with her dad. They can be very crafty in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to confirm that the things that she has, it's truly the dad that has bought for her.
Yeah.
Because she can tell you anything, right?
Yeah.
She hasn't done that yet. In fact, let me not say she hasn't done that yet, because my beautiful girl, with all her hormones and that, she decided she was dating someone. This puppy love dates and that. And their show of love was to exchange jumpers. So as soon as she walked in, I knew that was in her jumper. And interestingly, that weekend she had gone to her dad. So she came in with this new boy's jumper. And I said to her, "Oh, that's new. Did dad buy it? Where did you go for it? All that." And that's when she said, "No, this we have exchanged with whoever, the boy name, I'm not going to mention it." So I knew they had, but I knew it had not come from me.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to confirm that it had not come from the dad either.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how you're able to establish some of these things. I mean, we may not know everything, but you're able to chop those buds, chop those little horns.
Before it's too late.
Yeah, before it's too late. Because when it's too late.
And the other thing as well with checking the rooms is important, because because we always have this assumption, we always assume that it's only boys or it's only men, but it's not only boys and it's not only men. I mean, women are crafty and girls are crafty. So you cannot just assume men do things and boys do things, and we forget the women. When I went for a course of girls in gangs, I was shocked. I've never been shocked in my life. Girls are the ones that carry guns for these boys. They carry drugs for these boys. They carry knives for them, because police don't stop and search them. They stop and search their boyfriends.
Boys.
So because they will stop and search a boy, oh, my girlfriend will carry it for me. So if you do not check these people's room, I'm telling you, one day if police knock your door, they find a gun in your daughter's room or a knife or drugs, and you're thinking, I swear that is not my daughter's. Of course, it's not hers, but she's carrying it for someone else. But if you're in this business of checking your children's room, they'll say, no, oh, my mom or my dad, my room is like a toilet for them. They'll just come and check every time they want. So I can't bring anything illegal in our house.
Absolutely.
And that house has to stay clean, because that house is a safe place for everybody.
Absolutely.
So checking children's room is very, very important. Knowing what your children are wearing or having or new is very important. And I think, like you said, Angela, before about buying stuff for children and everything, I think we also need to teach our children from an early age the value of things, the value of materials, the value of money. Because if you keep on giving, today you've bought a child 150 shoe, tomorrow is not on fashion anymore, because they go on fashion so quick,
Oh, God, yes.
so quick. Tomorrow they'll come and say, oh, mommy, now I want. One day my daughter stressed my head only because of what is it called? Dr. Martens. Yeah.
Oh,
and Dr. Martens was so expensive, and I was thinking, okay, how am I going to buy this Dr. Martens? But thank God my sister sent them for me from America. 2 months later, I'm thinking, Why are you not wearing your Dr. Martens? Oh, mom, they're out of fashion.
Out of fashion.
But from that day, I said, I swear, I will never again stress on buying anything expensive because it does not make sense. And the reason why they'll do this is because we've not taught them the value of things. So if we teach our children the value of material things, the value of money, the value of life itself,
yes,
these things will not be a problem. It won't be because so-and-so is wearing this, I have to wear this, or I'm not going to. Do you understand? And that is where everything starts. If they do not appreciate, understand, acknowledge, or know the value of life itself.
Absolutely.
Never appreciate anything.
Even this thing of giving pocket money, I am all for it because I wouldn't want my child, like if she wants to buy a sweet, she hasn't got £1 or something. I wouldn't want it to be that way. And that's why I give pocket money. But that pocket money is tied to the things that she does. It's tied, she works for it. When she was younger, I would give her according to the chores and everything. But now, every penny she gets, she works for it. Because that's what happens in life. We work for compensation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So why should we just be dropping money in their laps? And then they don't know the value of it. Yeah, so we need to also show them that you work and get the money. So give them work. For example, you can ask your child to wash your car. Yeah. Let them wash your car and give them the £5. Yeah, instead of taking it to the drive-through there to get washed, tell them, do you want the £5 or am I taking the car to Tesco for a wash? You know, or things like gardening, things that you would actually pay someone else to do it. Yes. I always recommend give your child like the first refusal. Yeah, give them the chance to do the job. Yes. So when they tell you they haven't got money, you say to them, I gave you an opportunity to earn some money, you declined. So such is life. And there's also something that you say that I think we should take on board as parents. You say the change of a character, because you say like when they start being groomed, because they are being said, deliver this, deliver that, deliver this. So they don't really have time to do what they normally do. Like maybe if it's on a Saturday or Sunday and they normally do different activities, they stop doing it because they don't have time anymore. And they want to please those people because they feel like I owe them. I owe them because they did this and this for me. So I think parents, we should take that on board, regardless to that character changing. I think that one I've taken that in, and I'll be watching that one. I'll be watching it as like, you know, and I always say as well is the things that your children hear, your children watch. And I'll say this again, and I know I said it, I don't know if I said it last time, but when my daughter was younger, and this is just maybe 4 years ago, she was watching this thing, and there was this thing that is called challenge. And I don't understand how one stupid human can come out with challenges like that. I don't know if you had the challenge of ban yourself, and people are banning themselves. A lot of children died, and there's this challenge of, I don't know, do this. And my daughter, with all the upbringing that I thought I've done. And one day, my other daughter finds that putting towel inside her, like wow. Yeah, because they say challenge, and she's watching, and the person is saying, yeah, put it in. Can you imagine this girl could have just died like that because she had a towel and she was putting it inside her mouth because she's looking at the challenge, and the person is there saying, do it. So if my elder daughter did not go in the room at that particular time, what would have happened? So we really have to, and because like somebody said, I think Eileen said it earlier, that nobody's given a manual of how to be a parent. Nobody knows how to be a parent 100%. It's just the things we hear from either if it's seminars, if it's events, or now on Facebook or YouTube, you hear people talk, then you take them on board. Because I'm telling you, if my daughter did not walk in at that particular time, we'll be telling a different story right now. So it's so important to talk to your children what they watch, what they listen, what they take in their spirit,
and what they accept.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll tell you an example. For example, my daughter has been watching something that she calls anime and is very, almost extremely addictive. And then what happened is she started using those words, right? And someone who would not, like all of a sudden she started using this. I can't remember how to say it. So one day I pinned her down. I said to her, "Do you know what that means?" She said, "Yeah, I do, but I'm not telling you." So I said, "No, you may refuse to tell me, but we'll search it because Google knows." And it was something to do with what's wrong with you? You're stupid. But and it sounds very nice but something in I just kept feeling, no, I don't want you to speak to me in languages that I don't understand. And she did it, especially when we had a sort of a disagreement, and she would say it. So she said it the second time, and I said, no, we need to find out what that means. And that's when I said to her, unfortunately, you do not speak to me like that, because I do not speak to you like that. You're either going to drop that language or you're not going to speak to me. We're not going to have any conversation, and that's it. If you're going to speak to me, you're going to speak to me respectfully, just like I speak to you respectfully. Full stop.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have to be, like you said, your thing of that. Do you know that's how some of our kids have committed suicide?
Yes.
Because they are watching something. Someone is leading them. I mean, like not so long ago, a 13-year-old was doing a ligature something, and I said to the parents, I don't like this game, and this one is going to lead to some fatality. And they said, no, it's only a game, it's fun, sometimes we play all together. Do you know, about 3 weeks ago, that he played that game in his room, they found the kid, he was gone. He was gone. And that is even with a warning. How, even I'm feeling, what could I have done something more? 13-year-old. Now the parents they don't even know how to live with themselves. And especially you say, oh, we all play, it's okay. No. Those are not good games. They are not. Anything that veers in the angle of any sort of violence or harm, it's not good. It's not good, because all it needs is to go wrong. I mean, that kid, had there been someone else, maybe they would have, but he played it by himself because he's used to playing it. Now he thinks he's a professional.
Yeah.
And then what happened? There was no one. He was hanging from his bed. He had these beds that are ones on the top, the other ones at the bottom.
Bunk beds.
The bunk beds. And the only reason he was hanging like that was because in his playing, in his pushing, they decided to make it just a little bit higher. Just for the thrill. So his feet did not touch the floor. And you see, if your feet can't touch the floor,
that's it.
That's it. So those are, and this we are talking about, those are violent, they're violent games. And we just need to keep tab. We need to keep tab, because I don't know, I have never taken drugs, but I have worked with so many young people who are so open, and they tell me exactly what happens. And I can, from just what I've studied, I can understand why they say what they do, what happens. What happens when you take the drug? There's the first thrill. So the next time, if you take the exact amount, it's not as thrilling as the one you took. So they take just a little bit more. So they increase. And that is the same thing with, by the way, that's the same thing with extreme sport, and even these extreme games.
Yeah.
And that's what I was explaining to the parents. That's exactly what happened. Because it's been thrilling for the young person, they decided to raise the game a little bit higher. Unfortunately, that happens. It's very sad.
Yeah.
And we need to chop it from before it goes further. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is really, really sad. That is sad. And as well, I know we have a guest. We have a guest with us.
Yay!
Felix James, how are you?
Oh.
I'm good, thank you. Nice to hear you. Nice to see you, Angela.
Hi, you alright?
Am I
Yeah, we
am I
can hear
clear?
you.
I
Yes,
can
you are
see
very
and
clear.
hear you.
Oh dear, now he muted himself now. You know, technology is very difficult. Unmute yourself, Felix. We can't hear you. No, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Now talk.
Is that better?
Yes.
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 Yeah. I was listening. Sorry, I came in late and I was listening to what Angela was saying. There's a lot of factors there, I think. I don't know what I missed. But personally, I think the family dynamics is a really important thing.
Yeah.
Where we live, how the family is set up, and who is in charge. Are we helping? Are we checking? There are so many things that need to go in for this thing to come out the way we want it to be.
Yeah.
What I picked, what Lydia was saying that you picked that was important there is there's a code. No, I don't think you said it. There's a code that is being used that lazima tushike hiyo code. Hapo nje kuna code ingine ya kusema, sitaki kuongea kwa vile wako hapa watasikia. Kuna code ingine ya kusema hakuna kusnitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hapo
Mm-hmm.
anything wamefanya huko nje hakuna kuambia. Ikikuja kwa nyumba, hata kama unauawa unakufa nayo.
Yeah.
Hakuna kusema what is happening. And I think if you a few days ago hii story tulikuwa nayo ya the 7 that disappeared, alafu video ikatokea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything that happens, that's how they build it up. They build it up mpaka wafanye hiyo act ishe, mtu ashikwe, wawekwe separately and then being grilled, then that's when the story comes up.
Yeah.
Lakini kuja kwa nyumba, we have to be normal people, talk to mom normally, lakini code za nje hapo, it's very difficult to pick those ones. Hapo ndio mtu anasema okay, kuna madawa, enda uniuzie hizi madawa, ama weka hizi madawa kesho uniletee. Unaona? Ukikataa unapigwa ama unaitwa majina zingine. Again, you can't go and report because you'll be on the wrong side.
Yes.
Yeah. So my biggest worry is this 8 hours that they're in the school. Hapo tu.
Yes.
Hapo tu, in between school na kurudi home, na hapo kwa basi or being picked up. Na hii sleepovers na nini, hapo ndio maneno hutokea.
That's true. That's right. You're very correct, Felix. That's exactly what happens. But then what we can do, of course we can't stop everything.
No, we don't want to interfere with that.
Yeah, we can't stop everything. We want them to be independent, but at the same time, it's that trying. I don't know if you were there when we were talking about having those hot seats, allowing your young person to tell you where you have failed, and also that gives you also the right to tell them where they have failed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So because they know when the time comes for sitting on the hot seat, you might mention something they don't even think that you know. It's a lot about keeping connected all the time, connected. And also, let's say, for example, amekuambia ati they've told you that they've shoplifted. How do you deal with it? You know, how do you deal with that? How we deal with the first event is going to determine a lot how they then open up with you the next time. Yeah. Because if you're so hard on them,
you'll never hear anything again.
You will never hear anything else. A soft way you can start that conversation is, whoa, we all make mistakes, yeah, but some mistakes can really affect you. Like I remember some kids I was talking to about bullying, right? They were sort of a little gang and they were bullying another kid. So, the only conversation I said to them, they were very high performing kids. The only thing I said to them, you guys, and I say this to kids all the time. What I want is in 3 years' time, I want to come and attend. I want to come and attend your graduation, and I want to. I say to them, I hope you mention me. Like joking. I hope you mention me when you're receiving your cup. Or, for example, they are going to say to them, I want to come and stand at the family and friends stand. Yeah. So you build them like that, and then I said to them, but let me tell you something. If you carry on bullying that kid, you're going to be thrown out of that team, and that's going to be the end of your dream. Because when you have that kind of track record, it's a criminal offense.
Yeah, you won't
It's a
go
criminal
away.
offense. And when we speak to them like that, when we speak to them as, for example, bullying, or for example, I speak to them in terms of that's ABH or G, like previous bodily harm, they racial abuse, all those things. And I say to them, when you have that mark in your CV, you won't be going any far. I will not be coming for your graduation. And they can see, they can feel it, they can hear it.
Yeah, this is very challenging. Kwangu sisi tuko watano every Friday by the where are you guys going? Okay. Kila Friday after school watu wanaketi chini wote, tunakuwa na half an hour mkutano. Watu wote wanaongea, hata yule mdogo, hata wa mwisho wa PS. You have to say something and it's open. Kama kuna kitu imekufurahisha within the school, within the week, ama kwa nyumba, kama kuna mtu amekukosea, unasema. If there's something that you picked that you want to talk about, you have to say it kwa meeting. So ikifika Thursday unasikia watu wanasema, kesho kuna mkutano, I'm looking forward to it, nini wanachangamka. So I think kitu kama hiyo inaweza kufungua forum ya kushare kwa nyumba kwanza.
It's very important, and I wish more people. When I started doing it, I didn't realize that actually I'm so proud to hear that.
I've only done it for about a year now, because we thought let's try it, because unaambia huyu hivi kesho again you have to do some ule, you go and
it's so funny. It's so funny, really Felix. It's so funny, Felix, because Felix wasn't here before when we spoke about the hot seat.
No,
that was the hot seat we spoke about. We spoke about hot seat already, and for you to come back and say it just the fact that you also do it is just to prove the point that hot seat actually works. And parents need to take that. And Felix as well, you came back, you were not even here, which is so amazing. You just came with the same story that actually opened this discussion today about what happened in Kenya last week here with the same girls. And I was just telling Angela that the videos I saw, even at my old age, is something I've never thought of doing. And these are young girls. So, and I know, Angela, when you're talking about grooming the children, and somebody actually made a point here, Phil made a point of saying that Angela is very correct, actually, about the grooming children, and it's becoming very serious problem in this country. But I just want to tell Phil, because I know Phil is here in the UK, it's not actually just in this country, it's in the world. Because if you saw what happened last week, Phil, you will know that it's not in this country, it's in the world. What happened last week with those girls is very alarming, very, very alarming. And the videos that now came up after that, Angela, if you saw those videos, you will cry. It was pathetic. And the fact that they're 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. So the grooming is not just
I'm sorry, Lydia, but I think it's a good thing for, I know it's as sad as it is, but it's a good thing for other parents to see. I was glad I saw those videos.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear from what wengine, oh, nini.
Yes.
You have to see this and get, I felt like I should pull my hair. Unon. One, they are little young, naive, pretty girls. Hata
Yeah.
hiyo kama wanaweza kufanya hiyo kitu kama ni profession they wanted, when they wafanya wakuwa professional huko nje, they make their millions. But the approach is really wrong. The way they came out from the house, like ikakuwa hivyo nikafika that level, it's really sad. And now again, it turns into the social media all over the world. Sasa hatujui parents ikoaje. It's quite embarrassing. It's an embarrassing thing. I understand what we grow up, especially Oceana. There are so many things that people want to try out. Yeah. And all you need is just a bad influence. Mtu akwambia tu, okay, let's come and try this thing. You won't go out. Let's record it. You won't go out, I promise. And once it's done, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
No.
Really sad.
And that's the danger of especially social media. You know, even when,
really
for example, when kids, I mean, even my own daughter has said to me, oh, that boy, he asked this one to send her nudes. And this one sent the nudes. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, now that's the girl you need because she talks. That's the girl you need to keep.
And that is the thing. We have established an environment of talking, saying, being vulnerable. You know, being vulnerable, saying things. Yeah. But also, they need to feel safe. They need to know that she also needs to know that when she tells me about her friends,
they are all safe.
That I'm not going to stop. You know, I'm not going to stop not liking her friend or letting her friend come here. You see?
Yeah, or judging their friend.
She needs to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judging.
Or judging their friends because they are very protective of their friends. You know,
very protective.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to say, and I know I have said to her that actually I don't like that dash is going out with that boy because he's 16 surely and she's only 14. I don't like that. And then she tells me what's happening and I'm thinking, oh my God, if that's happening, my daughter could also be doing. She hasn't told me that. You see, so what I say is, again, that is another opportunity to talk about the dangers. In fact, I talked even with the girl. I talked to them about the dangers of, because they said to me, so what's the problem with having sex if all you guys have sex? What is the problem? So I have to say that our bodies, sex is a, you know, it's a heavy process, and your bodies are not grown enough to be enjoying that. Yes, and also mentally, that is what your body's and mental strength is not strong enough for that process. The same as alcohol. I say, because they'll ask me, and I allow them to ask me such questions. They're like, oh, no, Mom, you like rum and lemonade, so why can't I have, why is it that? And I said to her, even I drink rum and lemonade, but I can only drink one. Because if I try 2 or 3, you know, I'm going to sleep or something. I don't know what's going to happen. I've never tried that much. So I said to them, our bodies are able to withstand only so much. And especially when you are younger, you're only able to, and that's why there is age limits for some things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's bad. Yeah, because they know it's not bad, because they'll say to you, so how come you guys are not dying from having sex?
Lydia, do you think parents within our age, our generation of parenting, do you think they look at it like we are normalizing tukiongea about these things? Like Angela says, anaongea na wasichana wake about the sex. So if you speak to them, do they also think that you are making it normal?
No, it's not. You know, even the topic of sex is part of our topic today. But like Angela and you, I think you skipped it over. So we'll talk about it and just finish it. Talking about sex, what I always tell my children is sex is a normal thing, but it's a gift from God for married people. And they say, but people who are not married, because one of our girls, one of my daughter was actually a best maid of another lady in her wedding. And then some few months later, they told us the lady had a child. My daughter came to me and said, Mom, that means she had sex before marriage. I was like, oh my God. Because I always tell them that marriage is sex is a blessing. Is a blessing, like it's a gift for married couples. But at the same time, one day my daughter told me, my elder daughter and her friends, they said, let me tell you, Mommy, what's wrong? And there were so many of them, and I was thinking, God, give me the wisdom how I'm going to answer this. And they said the problem with especially African parents, that's why you see a lot of African children pushing prams in the streets when they're young. And then I said, I said, yeah. I said, why?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Crumbs.
I said, why is that? And they said, because yes, we all know that yes, sex is not good at this time. Sex is not good when you're young, blah, blah, blah. But what African parents don't tell us is, yes, abstain from sex. Sex is not good, but there's a but. But we Black parents, there is no but. So my daughters, my children, then there were a lot of them. They were saying the reason why you don't see a lot of white children with pram, not because they don't have sex at a younger age, they do, but because there is always a but with their parents. Their parents tell them, abstain from sex, wait until you're married, but use condom. But if it happens, there's a but we add this, no sex until you're married. Sorry, Isha.
End of,
no any other discussion. It's done.
So, and then you push the pram.
And then exactly. And then when they now go and have it, because you did not talk to them about contraceptive, you did not talk to them about how to avoid it, you did not talk to them, you just told them no. But because they now went and did it, they start pushing the pram. So my daughter was telling me, Mommy, do you think we have more sex than the white people? No, it's because the white people accept that this is the reality of life and talk to them about it and say, but with us, there's no but. So when she told me that, I went to my room and I was thinking, hi, so how do I even start saying but? Seriously.
She was right, she was right, Yeah,
she was right. So I was like, this is a hard topic. And I told her, I said, look, you guys should understand where we come from. And we also should understand where you come from. And then we meet in the middle.
That's right.
There's a meeting ground that we need to meet. We cannot just do things your way, and we can also not do things our way. We should meet in the middle. And for us, it wasn't an easy topic to discuss with our parents that, oh, sex. It was even an abomination to call that name.
Oh, God, yes.
But for them, I hear sometimes my three, because my girls are a little bit older. And when they're there, sometimes in the way they talk, I'm like, guys, your sister is younger. Can you just let her innocent brain be? They just start talking. Yeah, and then, did you hear? And then that guy, and then they had sex. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's a young person here. But they don't see it like that. They just see it like, it's a normal thing. We have to talk about it. So we as Black parents or African parents, we have to adapt that and know how to talk to them and advise them about sex. And talking about sex today, I just saw there's a comment here on Facebook as well. A person said that a 13-year-old, what did she say? Or a 15-year-old just killed, just now as we are talking, a 15-year-old has killed another girl over her boyfriend in Machakos. So a 15-year-old, and she said also, and just our comment, she said the girl was so conniving even that she was even covering the murder. She was clever enough, she removed the diseased clothes. What did she say? She said a 15-year-old. Or a 15-year-old just killed.
Sorry.
Okay. It's a 15-year-old who just killed another person and tampered with the deceased private parts to show as if it's a rape case. We blame the parents. Oh my God. So this talking, going back to how we should teach our children, I'm not an expert. I'll put my hand up and say, you know what? I don't know. And I know somebody said also prayers. Yes, we have to pray, but prayers go with prayers. Faith and works go together. You cannot just sit and pray for your children and don't do the action. And you cannot do
Absolutely.
the action and don't pray either. Those two, they go hand in hand. So
Absolutely.
we have to pray, and we also have to lead by example. Everything we do, we need to do it, and we need to pray as well.
I'm going to say something about especially us, us of African descent. We sometimes make it religion. We talk about religion, and then we miss life, right? And then, unfortunately, like you said, our kids at 16, 17 are pushing prams, right? It's very, very unfortunate. I don't know how many people my age, then someone says, God, I'm going to be a grandmother. And I'm thinking, okay. Yet, when I say to them, guys, we need to speak to our children openly about sex. Yeah. We need, because let me tell you something that's happening with teenagers. And I don't know, and when I reflect and I think about myself as a teenager, I had those feelings. You know, you have feelings that you don't understand. You know, you have feelings of I remember when I would be so afraid, I would have feelings like, now that I know what they are, it's sexual feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Not because I know. Now,
can you
imagine? Yeah, can you imagine our young people have that, right? And then they don't know how to express. And then they meet someone, remember, we are living in a society where kids are open to many things. They know a lot.
Yeah, so, it's their culture to be 16 and they push a pram, you know. You'll see many white kids around there with prams. I'm glad it's not a black people thing. I don't know if you've noticed it, Lydia. Yeah, but you see, everywhere you see them pushing a pram, and they're only not even 18.
No, but there's a difference. There's a difference. I'll tell you there's a difference. When those young white kids push the pram, sometimes they've even planned it so that they can get, for example, social housing.
Yeah. The system allows them, yeah.
Yes, ours, they didn't even think, at least this one, they thought, oh, I'm going to get a kid so I can get a flat of my own. Ours, they just got. Why? Because they had sex. And it's not because, and when you speak to them, they have not been having many sexual encounters. It's probably the first one or the second one. So we need to speak to them, and we're not saying that it's the right thing. Like my daughter, she knows that sex is a normal thing, and her friends, but I always discourage it because of when it's done with immaturity, it has, that's where they get pregnant, or they get diseases, or they get all sorts. Yeah. So that's from the angle where I discourage it. But then I also know my friends who have kids about the same age that they have had to put their kids on contraception because the kid is having sex. Yeah. So we have to be open to those conversations. We are not saying that's what we want.
Yeah.
But we are saying it's better. I would rather my daughter comes and tells me, this is what's happening, Mom. What do we do? Instead of 5 months down the line. These kids, sometimes they're small. You probably won't even notice, or they'll hide it so well. 5 months down the line, what do you do?
There's a stomach there coming.
Yeah, and you have to look after, again, there's
your
also
grandchild.
So we have to be
I'm not ready.
And tell them what we support and what we don't.
Very sad situation.
So,
but it starts from here. We have to talk. If we don't talk, then we won't know who is going, who is coming.
That's right.
It starts from a younger age. The foundation has to be strong.
Yeah.
And somebody says it's very, very scary. And people who are watching, people on Facebook as well, like we always say, please share, 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 so that other people as well can have can have the knowledge, the same knowledge that you're having. So just share. I know where you're laughing. I know where you're laughing. The person who said the parents will beat your feeling out of you. I knew that's why you're laughing, because I laughed at the same thing. People who are watching our viewers, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much, Mary, Philip, Nyambura. Nyambura is even saying that she has a child who is coming on to a teenage age. Thank you very much, everybody. Miriam, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. But I'm also saying, please, guys, share out there. Share and share and share. Thank you so much, people who have texted me and said they've shared. Thank you for sharing, but keep on sharing. Miriam, thank you for making us laugh. That was funny. But guys, please share and share and share. Sharing is never enough. Keep on sharing so that other people as well can get the same knowledge that we are getting today, because I've learned a lot. I don't know about you, but I've learned a lot. So as much as we say, do things with your children, and I know somebody has said it already on the forum, and you mentioned it as well, Angela. Let's do things with our children, activities. There's so many activities out there. There's so many activities. And me, as a person who does performing arts, I'm always with my children, storytelling, workshops, arts and craft, different seminars. I'm always going with my children. So I've always been like a purse with them. We're always going everywhere we go, we always go together. So
and don't forget, you must have a TikTok account as well as a parent.
Dancing,
yeah,
yes.
You have
TikTok.
Before
we
finish, I'll tell you quickly a story.
Yeah.
My daughter has become mad for TikTok.
That's right.
I don't like it. I don't like it. But
that's where the world is, Angela.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't like it. But this is what we have to do as parents.
Mm-hmm.
You need to support and show that I look, because sometimes when you don't support, because if you don't support, they feel like you're not with them. Some of the dances, you should see me dancing with her, and then she's like, "Mommy, I'm gonna post this," and I'm thinking, please do not post that. But she feels like, oh, when you do silly things with them, they feel like you're the best friend or whatever. You're their bestie.
Yeah,
it
cool,
it goes two way. You could be embarrassing mom, or you can be put in a bin
cool
for
mom.
A cool mom, yeah.
Me, I'm a cool mom. Me, I'm a cool mom.
You're the cool mom.
Yeah, I'm a very cool mom. Very cool mom.
For me,
lucky you.
For me, it depends on her hormones. One day, you're so embarrassing. The next day is, yeah, you're my cool mom. Yeah. So, and then I'm open. I just go with the flow.
Yeah. So, it's our job as well to discipline our children. It's your responsibility to train your children, to discipline your children, to don't allow. I know somebody said here earlier that the son did something and she actually took a mwiko. We all know what mwiko is. She wrote it there, she didn't care. She said, anybody wants to judge her, that's a problem. But she took a mwiko and mwikoed the child because she doesn't want the world to train her child for her. Sometimes it's necessary to use the mwiko, necessary to use the slippers. But sometimes it's not necessary. So, yeah, put your hand up. I've done it so many times. It will come back to hit you. That mwiko will come back to hit you after 40 years. Even it could be longer, but one day it will come back and catch your feet. So you have to work hard. If you use a mwiko, yes, I've used a mwiko, I've used some shipi, but you really have to work 10 more times to make it look like a level.
To negate.
Yeah.
Maybe I can say I've never used a mwiko.
Yeah, but many parents would use that mwiko because we went through that mwiko and the belt and needing a slippers. It's not working. It makes things worse. Yeah, that's why I said sometimes it's necessary to use the mwiko. Sometimes it's not. Because I'll speak on myself. My parents used mwiko on me more than mwiko belt, everything.
but I'll never in my life use the same for my parents. I'll never use Mwiko on my parents. And I appreciate that they used Mwiko on me because I was a very rebellious child. So I appreciate that. And with my children as well, I've used Mwiko, I've used sleepers, and they've turned out 100% okay. And I don't think one day they'll turn around to me and say, Mommy, we're going to use Mwiko on you because you use Mwiko on us. But what I'm saying is sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it reaches that point where Mwiko is not really necessary. My daughter, who is 22, sometimes she'll do something and I'll still Mwiko her. I don't care that she's 22. And she knows that. She said, hey, me, I cannot do this to my mom because when she takes a belt, I don't want that. So sometimes I still use Mwiko, sometimes it's not necessary. So there's so many ways for discipline. And talking about discipline now, we're going to that. What I've realized with parents is one thing. If you want to discipline your child, do not say something that you're not going to do.
Yes.
Think before you say something. And the problem now comes with where some children go wild or rebellious is because, oh, mom says this and she doesn't do it. Before I dish a punishment, you have to think of the punishment and you have to think of the repercussion. Even if you're going to regret that, oh my God, why did I say this? But you have to do it. So my children, they always know that if I say I'm going to Mwiko you, if I say no birthday, my children twice, they've skipped their birthday. A woman called me one day and she was begging. She was like, please, because your daughter had planned a birthday party with my daughter, please just let her do it and then look for another punishment. I said, no, my sister. That is the way I do my punishment. Before I dish it out, I think about it. And when I dish it out, it's going to be done, regardless of how strict or how mean that punishment looks. Because your children have to realize that once whatever mommy says or daddy says is going to happen. So that woman really, really begged me, as much as in my heart I was feeling bad, but because I dished it already, it has to be done. So that's what I'm saying. It's not always Mwiko. Mwiko is not always necessary, but some things that will make them feel it more than Mwiko. Mwiko, you use it, the pain will go. Within seconds, the pain is gone. But something like, I'm not going to do my birthday? Come on.
Yeah,
even weeks coming to that birthday is even after the birthday is gone, she'll still be thinking about it.
That's right.
And I tell her, if you think about what you did, anytime you want to do again something like that, think of your next birthday. Because remember, your next birthday is coming. And trust me, you will not do it. So once you dish a punishment, you have to do it. But if you know the punishment is so harsh, don't say it.
Yeah.
So Angela, talk to us about that.
I like to use a system that we call DREAD, right? And I hope I'm going to write it down there, but if we can just write, it's DRRED. So it sounds like dread, like for you to give consequences, they need to be dread. And what for me it means is the consequence needs to be directly linked to the behavior. It needs to be respectful. Yeah, it needs to be related, and it needs to be empowering, and it also needs to be, what was the last year's deliverable. For example, what you said, make sure you know that what you have said you can do. It needs to be deliverable. Because if it's not deliverable, your kids, they don't believe you, and then they won't. They know you're not going to. You don't follow through, so they don't take you seriously. But then also, whatever it is, it needs to be directly linked to the behavior. Whatever it is that you want them to change, directly link that consequence to that, right? So that it actually makes them think.
It's relevant.
It's relevant as well, but it also needs to be respectful and also empowering. And this is why when I tell parents this, they're like, no, we don't have to be respectful. But then I say to them, our job is to empower our young people, even as we give them consequences, not to kill them, right? So, for example, you say to your young person, "Oh, you're gonna go, because you've done this, you're going to go to school without a jumper, or without food or something." That's not being respectful of like their basic human rights. You need to think, or the consequence you're giving them is calling them, calling people and telling my child is a fool or something they did. It's not respectful. We need to be respectful, because they will remember these things.
Did you spray something?
But then it also needs to be, it needs to empower them to be able to do that thing that you had asked them to do, so that next time they will want to do it. So I usually don't say what we have found. To be honest, our research shows that punishment doesn't work, but obviously these are just semantics. Maybe consequences to you mean punishment, or these are just names, yeah? But think in terms of whatever you're doing, is it helping your young person actually move on to be a better person? It's always thinking what I have done. And that's why you just don't throw them. You just don't say to them, "That's it, you're not eating for a week."
Yeah, you have to think of it.
Yeah, you have to think. It has to be empowering. Or you say to them that you're not wearing shoes for I don't know how. We need to, in our anger, we can shout out things, right? But then unfortunately, anything that's going to ruin your relationship, your connection with your young person, that's not what we want. You want them to grow. You want them to do what you've asked them to do. And it's your job. If you feel you're not in a safe space, don't say anything. Remember, you can say to them, I know sometimes my daughter I can't say she's made me angry. She's done something that I felt, oh my God, this is out of this world. And this is what I say to her. I want you to think about the consequence that's right for what you've done. Yeah? I'm not going to say anything. I will think about what must happen for that behavior to change. And then I go away. Because if I give the consequence there and then, I can decide she's not going to, I don't know, I can decide she's not going to drink water for 5 years. That's what anger sometimes can make you do. Yeah? So we need to be very careful, very cautious about, especially when you're in anger, when you're angry, to give consequences then. We need to be very, very cautious. Another way I have found consequences actually work is when you discuss them with them. You discuss the action, and then you ask them, you say to them, I tend to tell my daughter, there's a law of the universe which says there is the sowing and reaping, or cause and effect, right? So for what you've done, what do you think is a good match for it? You just go and think about it. And do you know what? They will most often think about something and come back with it. They will think, and they normally will come back with something small, maybe something that's not important to them. But you need to have those discussions and say to them, no, I think that was too, that what you did is too much to be let off with you not having your phone for 1 day. I think what is suitable would be maybe 3 days. And then you're negotiating. Because remember, even after this, what you call consequences or punishment is over, you want to maintain a relationship with your young person. Behind everything we do, we need to think about connection. Because after everything is done, the relationship with your young person stands supreme. it stands supreme.
Yeah.
And also think in terms of what this person has done today. Will it matter in 5 years? So let's not go. And also, even for ourselves, let's think about, I like to talk a lot about forgiveness. But forgiveness doesn't mean you let them go just like that. Still, there is consequences. Yeah. So, for example, David, I don't know if you know the story of David, when he went and slept with that woman. And do you know, even though he was still being favored, he still got everything but he still had to face the consequences. The woman had to give birth, because once there is a pregnancy, the kid has to come out. He had to bear the shame for all that time. Those are still consequences. Yeah. We have to, even though he was forgiven, but God forgave him, but he still had to suffer the consequences. So we must not confuse consequences with forgiveness is forgiveness. And that doesn't mean you don't face the consequences. I can forgive you, but still you face the consequences. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to be aware of that.
And when it comes to punishments, just to parents out there, a punishment that works for one child might not work for the other. Yeah. I would say, like my older daughter, she's really scared. She's so scared of kiboko. If she just hears kiboko, she'll run. She doesn't want it. My second one is not scared of it. She something else works for her. She loves her phone. So for her, if you take her phone, that's the biggest punishment. So you have also to identify what works for your child and what works for which child when it comes to punishment. Because when it comes to discipline, it has to be there.
It has to be
there. Nobody
there.
can say, oh, no, you cannot discipline your children. You cannot punish your children. It has to be there, because if you do not punish or discipline your children today, the world, asiyefunzwa na mamae ufunzwa na ulimwengu.
Yeah, if you don't do it, if they don't do it, we'll find them in the prison, in the Young Offending Institute.
Yes,
they're there. They're there. We've got kids from lawyers. We've got kids from bishops. We've got kids from judges. They're there.
Yes.
So, and let's not think that my kid would not go to. Oh no, any of our kids can end up there. I've seen them all. I've seen them all. And sometimes when my friends say, "Oh, those are from the poor families," I say, "No, no. You have the judge has cases, and he says, you see, I can't handle my son's case, so he needs to go to a different judge." See, that is the life, that is the environment. This is where we are living. You know, that's the nature of young people, and that's why we need to just keep on tab. We're not saying we control them, because you cannot control anyone. Every young person has their own life, but it's just keeping on tab. And like I think I said it last week, our job is to guide and guard, really, to just continuously guide them. Of course, there gets to a point where you are like, I have told you, I have given you life. You know, the power of life and death is in your hands. Choose. Yeah. And when they decide to choose, they face the consequences. They face the consequences.
And that's why it's very important to guide and guard. It's very important for us also to imply a discipline on our children. And when it comes to punishment as well, like I said, you choose what works for your child.
Yes.
Don't discipline your child like Angela's discipline or Felix or Lydia, but your child is different. Your child is unique. Your child has their own personality and their own characters and their own life, what works for them. And the way we want to end this, because we are running, we are out of time, not running out of time, but we are out of time. But I'm glad that we managed to finish all the points that we had. It took us 2 weeks to finish this. And to be honest, this topic of parenting is not something that can even finish. It's an ongoing thing.
It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, because we still have parents who are having children now, parents who have not even become parents yet, parents who have not heard of this, parents who today is rosy, tomorrow now there's a problem and they need to hear somebody's voice, a voice of reasoning out there. So this topic is not a topic that finishes even 1 year. So I will advise parents, if you see topics like this, please listen to them, please attend seminars, please attend events that relates to children or to parenting, because nobody has a book of parenting. As much as you're listening to people talk, seminars or anything, also be wise and look at your own children's weakness and strength. All you're getting here is what, like I said last week, when I attended an event, and that was when my daughter was just young, and I'm so glad I did. I realized that do not call your children names. I didn't know that, because by the time I gave birth to my first child, everybody was saying, don't be stupid. It was every house I went to, I had, where? Watch out, jinga, watch out, jinga. Don't be stupid. It was a norm. But when I went to this course and I heard, you have to identify a behavior from your child. It really helped me. My house, I don't use words like you're stupid, you're silly, look at you. I never call my children names. They don't call each other names. I don't even use the word stupid in my house. And I have to use things like you're silly, is you're being silly. So the behavior is silly. And me, I learned that because I went for a seminar. So if I didn't go for this seminar, up to today, I'll be calling my children stupid. Because in a lot of houses, you hear that. You hear parents saying, you're stupid, you're this. I've heard worse things parents call their children. Worst. That's stupid. I've heard you're ugly. I've had names. And I'm thinking, how can you call your children these names? But it's because sometimes we need someone else to tell us. Because nobody's born a better parent. We don't know these things.
We don't.
We need to learn from people. But at the same time, you need to look at your own children and make sure that the discipline or the punishment or the love you're giving or the encouragement, transformation, inspiration, motivation is you giving it to your child. Don't let the outside give it to your child, because if the outside give it to your child is a different story. When you give it to your child is a different story. My daughter came the other day and she was like, Mom, if there's one thing I can say, thank you so much, is the way you've told me that I'm beautiful. Because even if somebody out there tells me that I'm ugly, I'll just look at them and say, ha ha ha, to you back. Because I am so, and I said, is that all? I've said so many things. She said, Mom, that's one. Because out there, people are always saying, you're ugly, you're this, to each other. But to her, she said, she's heard that since she was born, that you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Until now that she's 17, all she's heard is positive things. Positive things. Every time before my children leave my house, I always say, who are you? They tell me I'm a Black, beautiful African princess. I am more than a conqueror. I stand out and I don't fit in. There's words that I always tell them, say it before you leave the house. So they always say it before they leave the house. They always say before they leave the house. And not saying that I'm perfect or my children are perfect, but just saying that we are trying as parents and we need to try together. And the other thing, parents, allow, if somebody comes to you and tells you, I saw your child doing this, don't get angry. Investigate it. Even if you get angry, don't show that aunt or uncle that you're angry.
Yes.
Be angry in your own heart and then investigate the issue. Because if you're somebody who we come and tell you, oh my God, Angela, your daughter didn't do it, like, oh, leave my daughter alone. I'll see your daughter doing something and I'll never tell you.
That's right.
I'll never tell you. And you will never know because you are not there. So we need to remember that a child is a community. We need to raise our children together.
Absolutely. And that adage that says it takes a village to raise a kid, it's even more important today where we don't live in villages. And that's why it's very important. And I think we emphasized it last time about having a supportive group.
Yeah.
Because we can share these ideas, and that's what it means. Like it takes a village to raise a kid, because you tell me something and I'm thinking, my daughter hangs out with your daughter, so maybe this will work, or this will work, and that's what people do. You share ideas about how your young person can be better.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want.
Yeah. So somebody's saying, let's have a talk for a longer time, but we are running out of time. We can't go longer. So Felix, do you have anything, last words to tell our viewers? And then Angela, also ask you to have last words. We don't really have time at all.
That's
so Felix, do you have anything to tell our...
Yes, I'll just say this thing starts from your house. Like you say, there's no book. So this has got to be your book. Everybody has to write their own book of how to do parenting. It works. It really works. There's nothing that we are fearing. It's not getting to a point where we can say it's just a machine or no. It works, but you just have to face it head on.
That's it.
These people are just your gene. X, Y is come from you. If you're bad to your parents, it will come here up or wherever too. So just know how to deal with it. Have a conversation. Have a conversation in a family. Come on, there's dad and mom. Have a proper conversation where it starts from. Inaanzia hapa kissing, inaanzia wapi. They don't even know how it starts. Where it ends is all we know. So just talk to them normally, share, watch a movie, something together. But more importantly, have a meeting, your family. That's where I would start.
Thank you very much, Felix. Thank you very, very much. Angela, your last words, please.
What I would say, above all, think about things that help you connect with your young person. Think of this as a relationship. Don't just think this is my child. They do what I say. Always think in terms of, imagine having a healthy relationship with another person. How do you want it to be? There's respect for each other, right? There is responsibility for each other. There's boundaries with each other. There is that passing on positive vibes to each other. Like if for example, you were having a relationship with someone, would you like it if they were calling you names? Then don't call your young person's name. Don't tell them they're ugly or they're foolish. You wouldn't want someone. So think about this is a relationship I am building with a human being. They may be small or they may be teenagers, but they're still human beings. So let's think of them as a person, and we're thinking, how healthy of a relationship am I building with this young person? Of course, don't forget your job as a guide and a guard, and your role as a leader. And it's all about influencing them. So remember, you're a model. So what you do is what they are copying. Remember, you're a mentor. Mentors, what do mentors do? They help you. So you're helping your young person move higher. Every time you're helping them move higher. And also you're a motivator. What do motivators do? They call you names. They call things that are not as if they were. And you don't want to call things that are negative. So you want to tell them that they are the first and not the last. You want to say to them that I believe in you. You want to say to them, I trust you. You want to say to them, I know you're capable. That is what I can say. Really just think, this is a healthy relationship I'm building with my young person. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, my glasses. I know Miriam says she's going to buy me one, so that's fine. So I'm not worried. Miriam, please bring those glasses as soon as possible. Okay. Miriam actually said she wasn't expecting it to go long, but she's saying we should have these conversations, continuous talks regards to this. So I think, Angela, I'm
Yes.
gonna book you once a month.
Yay!
I know this is no, you're not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. This is just for a passion for us.
This is love.
This is love
This
and
is
passion.
love.
Yes.
And this is something that it's good news. It's called good news. And like Lydia said, Lydia Nyambura, she said, especially the sex, she says here, the sex, how to speak to our young people about sex should be a topic by itself. It should be given, because it's something very big. And obviously there are many other topics we can talk to about our young people and our relationship with them. And I'll tell you what, parents, all of us, the more we learn, even the more we learn about ourselves, and even the better people. I find that as I become a transformational parent, even the more my business succeeds, the more my relationships with my girlfriends is expanding, my relationship with my partner, because these are laws that transcend just parenting. They are laws that transcend parenting. They're not just for parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody actually said, just to say this and then we finish up. Somebody said that some parents actually love other children more than their own children subconsciously. They don't even think about it. It just happens. And I think that is totally true.
Me.
Felix, do you want to enlighten us in that one? I said we'd have no time, and then you bring another something to talk about.
Quick one. It won't be more than 2 minutes. Okay. Now you'd go visiting. I would come and visit you and probably meet your kids. And I want to be the best. You understand? I want to be like, I've seen a parent who came to visit me and straight away lectures to my kids. No, don't be, take your shoes off when you're jumping on the chair. You know, because my house is free for all. He's come with his committee and his military lifestyle, and I let up, and I want things to be like that. So for him to succeed, he has to be nice. So we go to other people's places, like you said, Angela, it's all about love. And then you love other people's kids, without knowing. So when you go back home and then you start showing your tabia mbaya, but kwa watu wengine, you love their kids more than. So as parents also, raise your hands up and useme saa zingine unakosa. As much as we want to get it right, but just think of it. Sorry, Lydia, to be too long.
No, that's fine. And I think that is more of where we have the hot seat, because that's where we actually have to accept and acknowledge our children and appreciate the fact that, yes, we were wrong. And we are not always right. We are humans as well. So we get it wrong just like everybody else. And so every month, like I was saying, Angela, I'm sorry, but I'll be booking you. We'll be having this once a month.
We are happy to do this.
Once a month, we'll be having this until probably next year, because
until we've exhausted everyone.
We've exhausted everyone, and the parents will be like, "Okay, we've heard you. Leave us alone now. We know. Okay." Then we'll be like, "Okay, now we can rest this case."
Lydia, can you just say to parents, let's not just hear these nice ideas, because they're nice, exciting ideas. Let's be doers.
Yes.
Let's be doers.
Practice them.
Yes. Let's practice them, because it's from practice that change will happen.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't really blame parents out there, because there's no book of being a parent. There's nobody who knows. But I'm telling you guys, to be honest, 100%, listening to speakers, going to seminars, events, listening really helped, because it has really, really helped me to bring up my children. And I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom for the past 12 years. I've been a single mom with my 3 beautiful angels. And I can say they've turned out all right. And yes, I've done prayers and I've done walks. So I've done faith and walks. They've gone together. I've fasted. I've prayed. I've anointed my children. I've anointed my house. I've prayed. I've done everything. And I've made sure that even if I want to do something, I'll do it out of my children. Will never see me doing anything that will distract them. So I know that prayers, faith, and works, they go hand in hand, and I've done all that. And I've done it as a single mom for so many years. So whether you're a single mom out there or you're a mom with parents, it will work. You have to still listen to people talk. You can't do it by yourself. You cannot just say, I'm a mom or I'm a dad, I'll do it. No, you have to listen to advice out there and know what works for you. So
Lydia, can I just say, even blended families, for example, my family is blended. So, and it's something that, especially in Africa, we don't talk about. Yeah, you know, blended families where you have a stepfather or a step parent, because it's something that we just don't talk about, and that's where sometimes there's collision, because when you go, for example, if you meet a person that you settle with, that person is never going to be your kid's dad. Yeah, you know, he's never going to, but there is going to be a different relationship dimension, and those are some of the things we need to talk about, because they can bring a lot of collision in families when someone decides to take a role that does not belong to them.
Yeah. And that's why Miriam suggested that we should have this topic should be continuous topics. So all I can say now, as we close, is be your child's, be a motivator, be a transformer, inspire your children, and always be there for your children. Encourage your children. So motivate them, inspire them, transform them, and encourage them every single day. Call them nice names. It doesn't pay you nothing. Even if you're upset, take time. When you're upset, do not talk when you're angry.
Yes.
And I know that children can make you so angry that you feel like putting them in the toilet and flushing them. Do not do that. Do not flush them in the toilet. Take time out, go and sit down and come back with the punishment. When my children see me, when they see me smile, I just they know, they're like, hey, today I just because at that time I just want to soak it in and then I'll come up with the punishment. But if at that time you just say, hey, you can say things that you can, and words are powerful. You can never take them back. So guys, we need to be careful, but we'll see you again in a month's time. We see you again, the same platform, same time, 6 to, it's supposed to be only 2 hours. Today we've done 2.5 hours. We shouldn't be doing that, 2 hours. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you for those who shared. Thank you for those who liked. Thank you for those who commented. And you can still share anyway, it's never too late. You can still share. And thank you so much for those who came. Thank you so much for those who participated on Facebook. Thank you so much. I cannot say thank you enough. And thank you so much for Felix, our special guest today. And also thank you so much, Angela. Angela, who is a psychologist. She's the one who's here always. She's the expertise. So she gives us the insight of the game. So I have Angela here once a month, but we can also have special guests. If anybody wants to come in as a special guest, you are totally invited. But Angela will be one of our guests every month because she knows this more than we do. So thank you very much, everybody, once again. Love you all, and I'll see you in a month's time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.